Hey y'all, I want to speak from my heart right now about something that has been weighing on my mind a little bit. Um, and as I was taking a shower today, don't ask why I almost turned this on in the shower. I was like, if I keep it above my neck, nah, listen. So I wanted to talk about where I am and where I see a lot of us going. Um, so to start, y'all, I've quit teaching 3 times. I started in 2005. I quit in 2015. I started back up in 2016. I quit in 2018. I started back up in 2019, and I quit finally in 2020. And in this entire journey of teaching and quitting and reteaching and quitting all over again, I had to face a truth about myself, which was I didn't know who I was. Teaching gave me an identity, and it was partially my calling. Reaching out to people, teaching them, mentoring them. I always said I wasn't a teacher, I was more of a mentor. And like helping people learn where they are and achieve things they don't believe they can achieve. Like I've had students reaching out to me on social media, letting me know that they are now graduating from college, or because of me, they even thought that was possible, or they're going on for their master's degree. I'm seeing some go into psychology or pharmaceutical, like getting their white coats, and some going into law school. And a lot of these students didn't even think they had it in them, but they would give me partial credit as to being someone who helped them believe in themselves. So, teaching had like this stranglehold on me because I wanted to be that person for others. I wanted to be the person I needed when I was going through the hardships of life at the age of 16 or before. I didn't have a very loving home. I didn't have a highly abusive home either, so don't get that wrong. But we just weren't very affectionate people. And being an outside child, I was the firstborn. And then my mom met this wonderful man, got married, they had 3 children. But things just always felt like different. I always felt like an outsider. And getting diagnosed with ADHD and going for an assessment soon for autism kind of clarified where the difference was in some of this, but not everything. And so I wanted to be that for people. I wanted to be that for students because a lot of times we overlook children because we think they're children and they're not having adult problems. But some are having very adult problems, and some are having the problems that help create adult problems. And I wanted to be that for kids. So every time they would say, like, could you wait until I graduate? Because they just, I guess, just wanted me to be there. They hardly ever came back to visit, but they just wanted me at their graduation. They just wanted me there. And I love that and I appreciated that. And it just made it so hard to leave. But teaching affected my health, right? It was not a good job fit for me administratively. I don't have those hours, 7 o'clock in the morning to be at work as opposed to waking up. Like that just did not vibe well with my body. The micromanagement that happened, dealing with a lot of inane policy and just the nitpicking that happened from people who do not understand the classroom, and watching the difference, the change in how parents supported teachers or their kids. It just like became a lot. And then as technology evolved and became more into the classroom, and I embraced technology in the classroom, but a lot of the students didn't take it as an opportunity for learning. They just took it as an opportunity for cheating. And as a person with a high sense of justice and rejection sensitivity, um, I took that cheating personal, right? And I also had like nightmares about what the school system was doing to children, how I felt like we were killing them, like we were driving them off a cliff, literally in my dream. And I couldn't save them all. So that wore on me. I developed heartburn for real, high blood pressure, hives, migraines. I had full body hives for a week 1 year after school ended, and I spent the entire week of my birthday in New York itching. Like I had them all over the place, just buying up all these creams, trying to find some relief so I can enjoy my birthday, enjoy New York. And I just never put two and two together about how much teaching was essentially an abusive relationship for me, right? We always heard like do it for the kids, do it for the kids, do it for the kids, and I did. But at some point I had to do it for my kids. At some point quitting was that answer because I would come home miserable. I would come home short-tempered. I would come home and sit in the driveway in my car for 2 to 3 hours before I stepped back into my house because I had to decompress from the day. And that very last year that I was teaching in 2020, I went to the doctor in January and just burst into tears. And she was like, you need to go on a leave of absence and you need to go see a therapist because I was crying before work. I was crying at work. I was crying after work. I was just unhappy with it, especially because in that last school that I was in, that's when it got really bad because I saw how teachers were unsupported. I saw how children who are 1 foot away from adulthood were being babied and not held accountable for their choices or even their output, their production. And I literally had an 18-year-old child in my 10th grade class copy my entire example that I gave the class because we were doing a symbolism exercise with a mask and I chose certain symbols like an eagle and some other things. I chose particular colors because of their meaning and I held it up as an example. I was like, this is what you are going to be doing, but according to you, how you feel, like what represents you. And this 18-year-old child, not even a young adult, really, the way that this went down. But she copied everything I put on my mask. And then I got berated for not explaining to her in very explicit terms that she was supposed to create her own thing, even though I did. And that was just like one of those things that it was just too much. And I was getting in trouble. Like I could never show up on time. I had ADHD. And whenever I tried, I would end up with like some kind of irritable bowel thing going on. And so what ended up happening was I was starting to develop like an ulcer from the anxiety that was being caused. And the final straw was when I went to the grocery store and had a panic attack. Like my heart felt like it was going to go out its chest. I was worried that I was having pulmonary embolisms again because I couldn't catch my breath. And when I finally went to the doctor, they're like, you had a panic attack. I never had a panic attack. And so I went on leave of absence in January. I probably would have tried to thug it out had I known there was going to be a pandemic, right? Because just 2 months later, everything shut down and we were online. And being forced to go back to work was like, but we're still in the middle of a pandemic. The kids don't even have to be here. Why do we have to be in a building to do our job, which is online? And then I saw the buses and I knew then they were bringing the kids back. And we were going to be shut in this little area called a classroom, breathing the same air from over 20 different homes. And then I had an anxiety attack. And I had tried to get ADA accommodations to be able to work at home. And they were just slogging through the paperwork. And finally, when I saw those buses and I had that panic attack, I mean, the anxiety attack, I was like, yeah, I quit. And I put it in and I told them why. I said I had applied. It is now 4 weeks later. You still hadn't done anything with it. And I quit because my health is important. My family is important too. And y'all, I had COVID earlier that year. So I knew how bad this could get because it was terrible. And I actually got it from work. I 2 weeks after I left work, I ended up with COVID and I didn't go anywhere. So I got it from work. And it was just crazy. So I quit. And about 5 or 6 months later, I was able to get unemployment because they saw that I put in a letter that said I needed these accommodations. I had these comorbidities and it should have been approved, but they dragged their feet. And so I was able to get the unemployment, but I only got it for 3 months before our governor in Georgia shut all unemployment down. And, honestly, like mine shouldn't have been shut down because it was like a legit, it was a, it was a legit thing. But anyway, so why am I sharing this story? Is because almost immediately after I quit teaching, and for years I had been building a business and, just pivoting and pivoting and pivoting, trying to find where passion, purpose, and profit aligned. And so I actually made the most money I've ever made that year. But I then hit burnout because I was very, very burnt out. And I had just been going and going and going and going and going through everything, through grief, through fear, through everything. And I hit burnout. And the thing about burnout, y'all, and I don't think people really understand this, it's not about rest and relaxation. It is about full mental health recovery. And burnout takes 2 to 3 years to recover from. And it took me that long plus some. So my plans to go full time in my business screeched to a halt when I couldn't even do that anymore. Like, I cried when somebody signed up for one of my courses because I didn't want to do it anymore and I forgot to take it down. And so I honored that, but it just like made the burnout even worse. I would show up, I would perform, I would do my job because I'm good at what I do when I show up, y'all. So that's not even a thing. Like, people get me 100 and some percent, when I show up. But it's when the cameras go off. It's when everything is done that I come back down and then I keep going down. So I finally got diagnosed with ADHD in 2021. And that burnout was, I understood it because I had been operating out of physical, mental, spiritual integrity, both as a teacher and as a business owner. So what ended up happening is being in burnout those 3 years, having no real source of income anymore, being unable to even go back to a job because I did try different jobs, but they, let me correct that. Yeah, I tried Amazon, but I had a foot surgery, so I couldn't do that because it was a warehouse job. And I didn't mind the warehouse job. It's just my foot swelled so bad and it was so red. It was just horrible. I wasn't healed yet. And then, I just kept trying the business, like trying at it, but there was a lot about it that not only didn't appeal to me, but was again against my integrity, was against who I did not yet know myself to be. I'm not a hustler. That was survival mode. But when you realize that that's not even how you're made, it's hard to even get back to it, especially when you're still in burnout. And it was so hard because I was used to being a provider. I was used to being a person who could go get it. I could sell anything, I could make it happen when I needed it. And here I was needing and couldn't do it. Nothing I was able to do ever in my past worked in my present. And fast forward, after finding myself being unstable when our landlord decided they were going to, and our landlord, by the way, is one of those big companies that are um, in trouble, from Texas. Main Street was our landlord. And before them, it was Street Lane, both from Texas. And they're they were jumping into the higher rents that were happening in 2021. So they said they weren't going to renew our lease. Well, guess what? Everything was astronomical. We couldn't even get an extended stay for less than $3,000 a month. It was horrible. And so I went to stay with my aunt for a few months while we were waiting on this housing, this tax, whatever they call it, tax something apartment. And that was taking so long. They kept saying it'll be done, it'll be done, it'll be done. Y'all, we didn't get to move into it until June 2022. And by then, everything had just gotten so bad that it's like when you have that moment of, I finally got something, you're just so behind. Like my car broke down. I had to sell all my stocks to help pay for it in the middle of a stock market crash. So I lost lots of money. So it was just financial hit after financial hit after financial hit after financial hit. And then finally we move into the apartment. But guess what? The pandemic's still going on. And my kids get COVID while they're staying with their grandparents. So we have to drive from Atlanta to Miami to pick them up because he can't be near the grandparents because the grandparents are freaking out. They weren't freaking out when they had a party, which brought the COVID, but they were freaking out now because it was like, oh, we can't catch it. And that meant my partner missed work and I missed work. And next thing you know, we're fired because they're saying we couldn't miss work or something like that. And I was doing Amazon delivery and I got in trouble because I had to cancel something last minute because we had to go down. And then I had to quarantine with my kids. So I couldn't do the things. So I racked up points and lost my ability to do Amazon, which was a huge hit financially because that's how we were keeping afloat. And then, like I said, my partner lost his job because he told his manager, he told his supervisor, and then the supervisor did not, whatever happened. And so he got fired. And so with this apartment, we found ourselves facing eviction. And I was able to sell some courses and teach and get some assistance with the rent. And we were able to hold off. And then the car we had went went bad. So then I went to go buy another car. It turned out to be a lemon. I tried to return it. They dragged their feet and then said, "Oh, you're past the 5 days, so now you can't return it." So I was stuck with this lemon, and we it worked We took it down to Miami for a holiday and then got stuck in Miami for 5 weeks. Y'all, so what I'm saying is it was a snowball, an avalanche, a snowball that turned into an avalanche because I lost job interviews because I couldn't go. And it just rolled and rolled and rolled and rolled. And then fast forward June 2023, at the age of 44, I was evicted from my apartment. And in September, at the age of 44, I had to return to my parents' home. And that's where I am currently. A whole year later in 2024, because nothing's working, you know. And I am at my wit's end with it, having to be so completely dependent on people for everything, for everything. And I'm not used to this because, like I said, I'm the provider, I'm the person people come to. And over the last 2 years, I haven't been myself. And so I'm sharing this video because I'm now giving myself just till the end of the year to start making this stuff work. And then I'm returning to teaching if it doesn't. So until December 31st, I have to see something. I have to see something working. I have to see that there is some kind of income coming in. Because if not, I'm going to have to return to teaching. And that's going to require so much investment because all my certifications are expired. So it's going to require a lot of investment from me to take a test, to pay for that test. It's over $200. To pay for my fingerprinting, that's almost $100. So it's going to cost me close to $400 just to apply to teach again. And in Miami, you don't make more than $50,000, like $51,000, $52,000, and that is horrendous because housing here is over $2,000 a month. So I have to make this work. I have to make this work. I want to make this video positive. Um, I want to make it positive. I want to make it about you, my audience, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Of keep going, keep trying, keep doing things. Um, so I'm looking for the positivity. I'm looking so hard for it. I created this channel in January of 2023, and I did not really do anything with it until September of this year. I'm sorry, I created in January 2024, and I didn't really do anything with it until September 25th of this year. And I'm up to 85 subscribers. And in a perfect world, I would be so happy because I'm like, yay. But I have to make this work. And that means that it's not just about you. It's not. I am doing this for the money as well. And that feels so weird to have to say. And I'm not even going to try to defend it. But I am. I need to build my subscribers. I need to get monetized. I need to make this work. all my other videos are going to be not like this. um, so let's put some positive outlook into it though, because we can. Over the last year, since October 2023, I have published 18 books, um, activity books, workbooks, journals, like, listen, a journal for men, coloring books, word search books. This is from my ADHD people. I've helped my daughter do so. Um, and I've created, like I said, journals. I've learned, oops, I've learned how to make spiral journals in the past year. Like, I've learned how to do this. So there are some hugely positive things, like just hugely positive things. For this week, I am currently doing, I'm on day 4 here, um, a 7-day masterclass series of how to do this, how to create journals with AI and Canva and get them published on Amazon. And I'm walking people step by step through it as I create my own. So I am doing this and helping people. And yes, it will be a paid class. Right now, I'm doing it free. If you click my TikTok, you can come to my TikTok and watch me do it when I go live late evening, like I'm about to get on now, and it's 11:30 right now. So that said, like chances are in a couple days, the link will be added to this description where you can grab that entire course. And like I said, I walk you through everything. I give you prompts. You watch me build and do it. Like, I'm walking you through it. So that is like some of the good part, right? And it's kept me busy. It kept me out of my head. It kept me from keeping plans to not be here anymore because I need to be here for my kids. And I just wanted to make this extremely, extremely, extremely vulnerable post because I don't want to be a teacher again. I don't want to work in a school system. And I know maybe saying this is going to like block me from doing that, but I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I don't want the pressures of working a job that doesn't respect you, that doesn't value you, that is always politicized, depending on who's in office, whether or not there's funding for it. I can't afford it anymore. I can't afford to be a teacher, especially not in Miami. It costs too much to be a teacher. And I'm not just talking financial, but I definitely am talking financial. So, the positive is in 2025, I am committing, and it's starting right now. I'm not waiting until January. I am committing towards improving in my marketing because I'm a creator, not a marketer. And I have no reason not to have money of my own. So I am very, very committed to learning marketing that feels good, not just marketing, but marketing that feels good, marketing that's in integrity with who I am and what it is that I'm here to do. And I'm also going to be, hopefully by my birthday, getting an RV so that I can own my home and travel like we like to do in my family and homeschool my twins because I don't want them in a middle school setting. I just don't like middle school. And so they're 5th graders right now. And these are the things that I'm looking forward to is finally using my voice. That's what this channel is about. It's about me using my voice, me showing you how to use your voice, me being authentically me, me giving you permission, if need be, to be authentically you. The power of vulnerability. Brene Brown speaks on that, and so that's what 2025 is about: is showing up, marketing, and doing all things that I want to do and doing them in excellence. Because, y'all, I got a couple of books I need to write too, like actual books, fiction works that I have been putting off because I kept saying, I need to wait until I make money. I need to wait until I make money. Writing felt like a luxury. Well, guess what? It's a luxury not to write. It's a luxury not to be able to do the things that God has told you to do. And He's been telling me to write. So I'm working on my obedience. I'm just working on it and committing to doing so and to being obedient. And that's where I am. That's what I'm doing. That's life right now. And in 2025, I hope in 6 months I can give you that update that I bought this tricked out fancy RV that has the bunk beds that come down from the ceiling, that has the um, balcony that extends and retracts, that we are traveling and homeschooling our kids. And I hope I can give you that update in 6 months' time, 7 months' time, by the time that I turn 46. Because the first half of my 40s have been hell on earth. It's time to make the second half heaven. So I know this wasn't about you, but hopefully you can find within it the nuggets that are there, because there really is something I want you to take from this story, and that is um, that you do need to get up and keep trying. I know things look scary. I know things might look hard. I know things might not have worked. I know you may have lost so much, because I can testament to every bit of that. But we got to keep going. We got work to do. And thankfully, I heard somebody say this one time before, and it stuck with me. As long as you have breath, you have a purpose. And as long as you have purpose, you have work to do. Let's show up. It's time to go to work.